5 years. That was how long I had been away. When the plane touched down, I kept staring through the window at the familiar streets below. I had imagined this moment during countless nights overseas. I imagined Olivia running toward me. I imagined my mother crying. I imagined my father pretending not to cry. I imagined placing the engagement ring back on Olivia's finger. The ring was in my pocket. I touched the box and smiled. "Home," I whispered. Daniel looked at me. "You finally made it, Ethan." I told Olivia I would come home. Then Olivia better be waiting. Olivia will be. I believe that. During my final weeks overseas, Olivia's messages had become shorter. I had asked, "Are you okay?" Olivia had replied, "I'm fine." I had asked, "Do you still love me?" Olivia had answered, "Of course." But something had changed. I pushed the thought away. Olivia is probably exhausted, I told myself. I watched Daniel study my face. "You believe that?" "I have to." The moment we reached the Carter estate, my smile disappeared. The driveway was filled with expensive cars. Music echoed from the gardens. I watched Daniel stop beside me. "Ethan, what is happening?" "I don't know." I stared at the decorated entrance. White flowers covered the gates. Golden lights hung from the trees. Guests moved through the courtyard wearing formal clothes. My heart began beating harder. "This looks like a wedding," Daniel whispered. "No." I stepped forward. "It cannot be." Daniel grabbed my arm. "Ethan, wait. I need to see." I walked through the entrance. The music became louder. Then I saw the altar. My legs stopped moving. Olivia stood beneath a white flower arch. Olivia wore a wedding dress. Beside Olivia stood Ryan, my younger brother. For several seconds, I could not breathe. The engagement ring inside my pocket suddenly felt like a piece of metal burning through my clothes. I watched Ryan turn toward the entrance. Our eyes met. Ryan did not look surprised. Ryan smiled. "Ethan." My stomach twisted. "Ryan." Olivia turned. The color vanished from Olivia's face. "Ethan." I looked from Olivia to Ryan. "Why are you wearing a wedding dress?" Olivia lowered Olivia's eyes. "Please." "Please what?" I took another step. "Olivia, answer me." Ryan moved closer to Olivia. That single movement shattered something inside me. "You're marrying Ryan?" Nobody answered. I laughed once, but the sound felt broken. "After 5 years?" Ryan finally spoke. "Ethan, this is not the place. This is exactly the place." I looked at every guest. Everyone here knows something except me. Ryan's jaw tightened. "Leave. Leave." I pointed toward Olivia. "That is my fiancée." Ryan answered coldly. "Not anymore." The words hit harder than any wound I had received overseas. I looked at Olivia. "Tell Ryan Ryan is wrong." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, Tell Ryan." Olivia remained silent. I pulled the engagement ring box from my pocket. "I brought this home for you." Olivia covered Olivia's mouth. I opened the box. "I carried this through 5 years of war because I believed every promise you made." Olivia whispered, "Ethan, please. You promised you would wait." "I know. You promised 5 years could never change us." "I know. You promised that the first thing you wanted after my return was to marry me." I watched Olivia start crying. Ryan stepped between us. Olivia chose me. I looked directly at Ryan. "Did you know I was coming home?" Ryan paused. "Yes." My chest tightened. "You knew?" "Yes." "And you still plan this wedding?" Ryan answered, "Olivia deserves someone who could actually be here." I stepped closer. "You were my brother." Ryan's expression hardened. "I still am." "No." I shook my head. "My brother would never do this." Ryan replied, "Your brother got tired of watching Ethan receive everything." The courtyard went silent. I watched Michael rush toward me. "Ethan, come outside." I turned toward my father. "Did you know?" Michael avoided my eyes. "Not here." "Did you know?" "Ethan, please. Answer me." I saw Sarah appear behind Michael, already crying. "Ethan, come home with Sarah." "I am home." My voice broke. "I came home." Sarah covered Sarah's face. Michael grabbed my shoulder. "Ethan, stop this." I pulled away. "Stop what?" "Asking why my brother is marrying my fiancée." I heard guests begin whispering. I saw irritation cross Ryan's face. Olivia finally stepped forward. "Ethan, the wedding is not what you think." I stared at Olivia. "Then tell me what it is." Olivia looked toward Michael. Michael suddenly went pale. I noticed. For the first time, I understood that the wedding was only the surface. What happened while I was gone? Nobody answered. I looked at Ryan. Tell me. Ryan remained silent. I looked at Michael. Tell me. I watched Michael lower Michael's head. Then Olivia whispered the words that changed everything. You were never supposed to come home. My heart stopped. What does that mean? I watched Olivia wipe away a tear. It means the people you trusted made decisions because those people believed I was dead. Dead. Ethan breathed. I heard Michael whisper, son. Do not call me son until Michael tells me the truth. Please forgive Sarah. I don't know what Sarah is apologizing for. I saw fear in Olivia's eyes. Ethan, the truth will hurt. I closed the ring box. Nothing can hurt more than this. Ryan knows. Ryan remained silent. Michael knows. And Olivia knows. I watched Olivia nod. I know. Then somebody will explain everything tonight. I heard the wedding music stop. I advanced. I came home expecting love. Instead, I found a lie. My world had changed. I refused to leave the estate. Olivia, come with me. Olivia followed me into the old library. I closed the door and faced Olivia. Start talking. Olivia wiped tears from Olivia's cheeks. Ethan, I never wanted this. You stood beside Ryan in a wedding dress. I know. You wore a ring. I know. You allowed me to walk into that ceremony. I thought you were dead. My anger weakened for 1 second. Who told you that? Michael. I stared at Olivia. My father. Olivia nodded. When? 3 years ago. 3 years. Olivia lowered Olivia's head. Michael received a military report after one of your operations. The report said your unit suffered heavy losses. Michael told me your chances were almost nothing. I felt my hand shake. Michael never told me about that report. I know. Then why did you believe Michael? Because Michael showed me documents. What documents? I never understood everything. I only saw your name and words about missing personnel. I stepped closer. You should have contacted me. I tried. How many times? Dozens. Then why did the messages stop? Olivia looked toward the window. Michael told me your communication could endanger your position. Michael warned me that contacting you too often could create problems. I laughed bitterly. So Michael decided my death for everyone. Ethan, I believe Michael. You believe my father more than me. Olivia cried silently. I was 24. I was terrified. Every day, I expected terrible news. And Ryan. Olivia closed Olivia's eyes. Ryan stayed close. Close enough to replace me? No. Then explain the wedding. Olivia whispered. Ryan became my support. The library door opened. Ryan entered. Because I was there. I turned toward Ryan. Get out. Ryan ignored me. Ethan, you left Olivia for 5 years. I served my country. You disappeared. I wrote to Olivia. Letters do not hold a person when nights become unbearable. My chest tightened. You wanted my place. Ryan stepped closer. I wanted to stop watching Olivia suffer. You wanted my fiancée. Ryan's voice hardened. Olivia chose Ryan. I looked at Olivia. Did Olivia choose Ryan? Olivia struggled to answer. I chose Ryan after believing Ethan was gone. Daniel entered before I could respond. Ethan, remember why you left. I looked at Daniel. Daniel, I know why I left. Then do not let guilt rewrite those 5 years. Ryan scoffed. Easy for Daniel to say. Daniel faced Ryan. Military service was not abandonment. Ryan answered, Olivia needed Ethan. I know. Ethan was never there. I know that too. Daniel looked at me. But Ethan was serving while Olivia waited. I swallowed hard. Did Olivia have the right to move forward? Olivia answered quietly. Yes. The answer hurt more than anger. I looked away. I wish Olivia had told me. I was afraid. Before I could respond, the library door opened again. James Miller entered carrying a thick folder. Ethan, James needs to speak with Ethan. I frowned. What is that? Documents from Michael's office. Ryan immediately moved toward James. James, this is a family matter. James held the folder tightly. This stopped being a family matter when Michael used company funds to arrange this marriage. My stomach dropped. What did Michael do? James opened the folder. Michael received updated military information 7 months ago. I stared at the papers. What information? Confirmation that Ethan was alive. Silence filled the room. I looked at Michael, who had entered behind James. You knew? Michael looked broken. Yes. My voice became cold. When did you know? 7 months before the wedding. I stepped toward Michael. And Michael still allowed the wedding? Michael whispered. I believe the marriage would save the company. I could barely breathe. You knew I was coming home. Yes. You knew Olivia believed I was dead. Yes. You let Ryan marry Olivia anyway. Michael lowered his eyes. I made a terrible decision. I laughed without humor. A terrible decision? Sarah entered the library. Ethan, please listen. I turned towards Sarah. Sarah knew too? Sarah began crying. I knew Olivia and Ryan had become close. How long? Almost 2 years. I felt something inside me break. Sarah watched this happen. I wanted to tell you. Then why didn't Sarah? Michael threatened to destroy the company if I interfered. I stared at both parents. So everyone protected the company. No, everyone protected the family name. Sarah shook Sarah's head. I wanted Ethan safe. Ethan was thousands of miles away while everyone lied. I turned toward James. Why bring these documents now? James opened another section. Because Ethan deserves the complete truth. I looked down. What truth? James took a breath. Ryan did not marry Olivia simply because Ryan loved Olivia. Ryan stepped forward. James, stop. James continued. Ryan needed Olivia's family connections to secure control of the Carter business expansion. I looked at Ryan. You planned this. Ryan's silence answered me. James placed another document in my hand. The business agreement required Ryan to become Olivia's husband before control could transfer. I stared at the signatures. My absence was part of the plan. James nodded. Ethan was supposed to remain absent. I looked at Olivia. Did Olivia know? Olivia started crying. I knew about the business agreement. I did not know Ryan had planned around Ethan's absence. I closed my eyes. 5 years of sacrifice suddenly felt like a lie. Then James spoke again. Ethan, there is one more document. I opened my eyes. What? James looked directly at me. The military report Michael received was not the final report. My heart stopped. Then what was it? James answered. The final report confirmed Ethan survived. I looked at Michael. Michael knew. Yes. And Ryan knew? James nodded. Ryan knew too. I finally understood. This wedding had never been about love alone. It had been about my absence. And my absence had been planned. I looked at Ryan and felt the last piece of trust disappear. This time, I would not leave without uncovering every hidden truth inside this family. I spent the entire morning at Daniel's apartment, spreading documents across the dining table. Start with the military records, Daniel told me. I want everything. Messages too. Everything Olivia sent. Everything Michael sent. Everything Ryan sent. Daniel opened my laptop. You're sure you want every detail? I need the truth, Daniel. Even if the truth destroys what remains of my family. I opened the first folder. Military reports filled the screen. Then came old emails, family messages, bank records, and letters from home. Daniel pointed at one message. Look at this. I read the date. Ryan asked Michael about the inheritance. 3 years ago. What did Michael answer? Michael wrote, not yet. Ethan's future must remain protected. I stared at the screen. Ryan asked again 6 months later. Daniel nodded. And again. I opened another file. Why was Ryan tracking my inheritance? Daniel leaned closer. Because Ryan always wanted more. I remembered childhood dinners. Michael praised my discipline. Ethan never wastes an opportunity. Ethan always keeps promises. Ethan knows responsibility. I remembered Ryan sitting quietly during those conversations. I thought Ryan was simply quiet. Daniel shook his head. Quiet anger can last for years. I opened Ryan's old messages to Michael. One sentence made my hands tremble. Why does Ethan always get everything? I whispered, because I work for it. Daniel looked at me. Do not defend yourself to a message. I am not defending myself. I closed the laptop. I am understanding Ryan. By evening, I had enough evidence to confront my brother. I found Ryan inside the Carter estate. Ryan looked at me and smiled. Back for another interrogation? I want answers. About Olivia? About everything. Ryan poured a drink. Ask, why did Ryan want my life? Ryan laughed. your life, my position, Michael's approval, Olivia, the inheritance. Ryan's smile disappeared. You finally understand. I want to hear Ryan admit it. Fine. Ryan wanted everything. I felt my jaw tighten. Why? Because Ethan was always the perfect son. I was simply doing what Dad expected. That was the problem. Ryan placed the glass down. Michael praised Ethan for discipline. Michael praised Ethan for courage. Michael trusted Ethan with everything. I never asked for that, but Ethan received it. I earned it. Ryan slammed a hand against the table, and Ryan received second place. I stayed still. Second place? Always. Ryan pointed toward the hallway. Michael looked at Ethan and saw the future. Michael looked at Ryan and saw a problem. That was never my choice. But Ryan wanted to change it. By marrying Olivia? By becoming the person everyone respected. Taking Olivia does not make Ryan better than me. Ryan's face hardened. Olivia chose Ryan. Olivia was lied to. Olivia still married Ryan. I stepped closer. You knew I was alive. Ryan's silence confirmed the accusation. You knew. Yes. You knew I was returning. Yes. And Ryan still continued the wedding. Ryan smiled coldly. Ryan had waited long enough. My fist tightened. Military training taught me something important. Losing control was not strength. I lowered my hands. You think anger makes Ryan powerful? Ryan stared at me. I think Ethan is afraid. I'm not afraid. Ryan can destroy everything Ethan tries to build. Ow! Michael still controls powerful people. I laughed. My future does not belong to Michael. Ryan leaned closer. Keep believing that. I walked away before anger could control me. Outside, James waited beside his car. Ethan, James found another document. What now? The inheritance agreement. James handed me several pages. I read the first paragraph. Why did Michael change this? Michael changed the agreement during your deployment. I continued reading. If Ethan died overseas, Ryan would receive nearly everything. My stomach dropped. And if I survived, Ryan would still receive company control after marrying Olivia. I looked at James. This was arranged. Yes. Between my family and Olivia's family? James nodded. The Carter and Bennett families signed a private agreement. I looked toward the estate. My possible death became part of a business plan. James spoke quietly. Ethan, there is more. What? Michael knew the military report was incomplete. I closed my eyes. How long? Months. I could barely breathe. My family planned around my death. James nodded. I returned to the library and searched through old correspondence. Then I found an envelope. My name was written across the front. Olivia's handwriting. The date was 4 years old. I opened it with shaking hands. The first line destroyed me. Ethan, I never stopped loving you. I read further. Michael told me Ethan had been killed during an operation. Olivia believed the report because Michael showed Olivia the document. Olivia cried for days. Olivia wanted to believe Ethan would somehow return. My eyes burned. The letter continued. Olivia is terrified of living without Ethan. Ryan has stayed nearby, but Olivia still loves Ethan. Olivia does not know what to do. I stopped reading. Daniel stood behind me. Ethan, I continued. Every night, Olivia hopes Ethan survived. If Ethan ever comes home, Olivia wants Ethan to know that love never disappeared. A tear fell onto the paper. I whispered, Olivia loved me. Daniel answered softly. According to the letter, yes. I turned the final page. The last sentence read, if Ethan is alive, please forgive Olivia for believing the lie. I held the letter against my chest. For 5 years, I had believed Olivia abandoned me. Now I knew the truth was worse. Olivia had loved me while believing I was dead. My family had known I was alive. Ryan had known, and the wedding had continued anyway. I looked at Daniel. This changes everything. Daniel asked, what will Ethan do? I folded Olivia's letter carefully. First, I find out who created the false report. And after that, I look toward the Carter estate. Then I decide who deserves my forgiveness and who deserves the truth. For the first time, I stopped feeling like a victim anymore. I walked into Michael's office with Olivia's letter in my hand. Michael looked up and immediately understood why I had returned. Where did you find that? In the library. Michael stood slowly. Ethan, please listen before judging. 4 years ago, Olivia believed I was dead. I know. Michael knew I was alive. Yes. Then why did Michael let Olivia believe the lie? Michael closed his eyes. Because I was afraid. Afraid of what? Losing everything. I placed the letter on the desk. Michael chose a business over his son. I thought your military situation was hopeless. The first report was incomplete. I believed you might never return. But Michael knew I could survive. I received confirmation much later, and Michael still said nothing. Michael lowered his head. By then, the company was collapsing. I stared at him. Tell me about Ryan. Ryan had debts. Serious debts. Creditors were threatening him. The company could not cover everything. So Michael sold my future to save Ryan. I made a terrible bargain. What bargain? The Bennett family offered financial support. Victoria wanted Olivia married to Ryan. The marriage would secure investment, contracts, and control of the expansion. And Michael agreed. Yes. Because Michael believed I was dead. Yes. I felt anger rising again. You never even gave me a chance to come home and choose my own life. I believed protecting the company would protect the entire family. You protected a building and destroyed the family inside it. Michael's eyes filled with regret. I know. The office door opened. Victoria Bennett entered with Olivia behind Victoria. Victoria stopped when Victoria saw me. Ethan. Victoria knew too? Victoria took a breath. Victoria knew enough. Then explained everything. Victoria looked at Olivia. Olivia believed Ethan was dead. Olivia was broken. Victoria pressured Olivia because Victoria believed Ryan could provide stability. Stability? Financial stability. Security. A future. I laughed bitterly. So Olivia's grief became an opportunity. Victoria did not answer. I looked at Olivia. When did Olivia learn I was alive? Olivia stepped forward. 2 months before the wedding. My heart tightened. 2 months. Yes. Then Olivia could have stopped everything. I tried. Did Olivia try hard enough? Olivia began crying. No. That answer silenced me. Olivia continued. The contracts had already been signed. The Bennett family had invested millions. Ryan's debts were tied to the agreement. If Olivia canceled the wedding, both families would collapse financially. You chose security. Yes. Over me. Olivia wiped away tears. Yes. The honesty hurt more than another lie. I looked toward the window. Part of me wanted revenge. I wanted Michael to lose everything. I wanted Ryan to feel the same helplessness I had felt. I wanted Olivia to understand exactly what 5 years had cost me. But another memory returned. Olivia standing beside me before deployment. Come home to me. I had promised. I will. Olivia had smiled. Then Olivia will wait. That memory made revenge feel empty. I turned toward Michael. I will not destroy the company. Michael looked surprised. Why? Because I do not want revenge to become my life. What will Ethan do? I will expose everything. Victoria frowned. Ethan, that could ruin both families. Then the truth should have been considered before the lies. The door opened again. James entered carrying another folder. Ethan, James needs to show Ethan something. I took the folder. What is this? Ryan's financial records. I opened the first page. Ryan owed far more than anyone had admitted. James continued. There are also fraudulent transactions. Michael stood. What? Money was moved through several accounts to hide Ryan's debts. Victoria stepped back. Who authorized those transfers? James looked at Michael. Michael's company accounts were used. Michael's face turned pale. I never approved that. James answered. The investigation will determine who did. Olivia covered Olivia's mouth. The Bennett family cannot continue funding this. Victoria shook Victoria's head. Victoria is withdrawing every remaining investment. Ryan appeared in the doorway. No. James turned. Ryan, the evidence is already secured. Ryan looked at me. Ethan, please. I felt no satisfaction. Ryan made choices. Now Ryan faces the consequences. Ryan stepped closer. You are enjoying this. No. I looked directly at Ryan. I know what losing everything feels like. I refuse to become someone who celebrates another person's pain. Ryan had nothing to say. Days later, the wedding was officially dissolved. I stood outside the estate when Olivia approached me. Ethan. I turned. Olivia held the wedding ring. Olivia should have returned this sooner. Olivia removed the ring and placed it in my hand. I know Olivia lost the right to ask for another chance. I looked at the ring. Why are you giving this to me? Because the ring belongs to the promise we once made, not the life we ended. I closed my fingers around it. I forgive Olivia. Olivia looked surprised. Does forgiveness mean there is still hope? I shook my head. No. Forgiveness means I refuse to carry this pain forever. Olivia cried. I understand. I looked toward the road ahead. For the first time, I finally felt free. The ring remained in my palm, but the future no longer belonged to it. Before leaving Michael's office, I turned back. Michael, one question. Did Michael ever love me? Michael's face broke. Every day. Then why did Michael choose silence? Because fear made me selfish. I nodded. That is the answer I needed. Outside, Daniel waited near the driveway. How did it go? I heard the truth. Does the truth feel better? No. Then what changed? I looked at the house where my childhood had disappeared. I finally know the pain was not my fault. Daniel smiled. That matters. It does. I took Olivia's letter from my pocket and folded it beside the ring. I'm keeping both. Why? To remember what happened without letting it control me. Daniel nodded. Then Ethan is ready to move forward. I looked toward the sunrise. Yes. This time, I'm going home by my choice. I watched the Carter Company collapse from a distance. James had presented the financial records to the board, and the evidence had been impossible to ignore. Ryan had moved money through hidden accounts, falsified transactions, and used company funds to cover personal debts. Daniel called me that morning. Ethan, Ryan has lost control of the company. I sat quietly. How bad? Bad enough that the board removed Ryan immediately. And Michael's reputation is damaged. Everyone knows Michael hid the military information. I looked through the window. What about Victoria? The Bennett family lost several business partners. Victoria's connections are disappearing. I expected satisfaction. Instead, I felt empty. Daniel asked, "Are you okay?" I thought watching Ryan fall would make me happy. And I feel nothing. That is probably a good thing. I leaned back. I spent 5 years watching people die. I watched families break apart. I learned something over there. What? Revenge can destroy the person carrying it. Daniel became quiet. I do not want to become Ryan. Then stop living around Ryan. I looked at him through the phone. What should I do? Build something that belongs to Ethan. Those words stayed with me. 2 weeks later, Daniel and I rented a small office downtown. I placed my military certificates on a desk. Daniel looked around. Private security. Private security. Are you sure? I have spent 5 years protecting people under pressure. I know how to plan, assess danger, and stay calm. Daniel smiled. Then let's build the company. I shook Daniel's hand. For the first time, I am building something that does not belong to Michael, or Ryan, or Olivia. I looked at the empty office. This belongs to me. The first month was difficult. We had no major clients. We worked long hours, answered every call, and built every contract ourselves. One evening, Daniel handed me a folder. First corporate client. I opened it. You are serious? Very serious. I smiled. We actually did it. Daniel laughed. You did it. No, we did it. That night, I realized my confidence was returning. For years, I had defined myself through other people. Michael's son, Olivia's fiancé, Ryan's brother, a soldier expected to survive. Now it was simply Ethan. That felt powerful. 3 days later, Olivia came to the office. I knew immediately why Olivia had come. Can we talk? I nodded. Olivia sat across from me. I am not here to ask for excuses. Good. I owe Ethan an apology. I waited. Choosing Ryan was my mistake. I looked down. Olivia was afraid. Yes. Olivia was pressured. Yes. But those things do not erase the choice. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. I know. Why come here now? Because Olivia needs to ask one question. I looked at Olivia. What question? Is there any chance we can start again? The office became silent. I remembered our first date. I remembered Olivia waiting at the airport. I remembered the promise before deployment. I also remember the wedding. Olivia, I loved you. I know. Part of me probably always will. Olivia cried quietly. But love is not enough. I understand. Trust died at the wedding. Olivia lowered Olivia's head. Then there is no chance? Not the way Olivia wants. Olivia wiped away tears. I accept that. I stood. I hope Olivia finds peace. I hope Ethan finds happiness. Olivia walked away. I watched the door close. Daniel entered several minutes later. Was that Olivia? Yes. What did you tell Olivia? The truth. Daniel nodded. That is better than revenge. The next morning, James called me. Ethan, James found something. I immediately became serious. What? Another military document. Is it the final report? No. It is evidence connected to the final report. I met James at his office. James placed a sealed envelope on the desk. Open it. I opened the envelope. Inside was a communication record from the military liaison office. My eyes moved across the page. Ryan received this? James nodded. When? 2 months before the wedding. I read the message again. The report clearly confirmed that I had survived and was returning home. My hand became cold. Ryan intercepted it. Yes. What? James answered quietly. Ryan knew Olivia would cancel the wedding if Olivia learned Ethan was alive. I stared at the document. So Ryan knew everything. Yes. Ryan knew I survived. Yes. Ryan knew Olivia still loved me. Yes. Ryan still went through with the wedding. James nodded. I closed my eyes. For years, I had believed Ryan had taken advantage of a terrible misunderstanding. Now I understood the truth. Ryan had created the misunderstanding. Ryan had stolen my future knowingly. I touched the ring inside my pocket and remembered the promise I carried overseas. The memory hurt, but the pain no longer controlled me. I had lost years I could never recover. Yet I had gained something unexpected, the courage to choose my direction. I no longer needed anyone's approval to know my worth. I only needed strength to keep walking forward. I looked at James. Why reveal this now? Because Ethan deserves the complete truth. I folded the document carefully. Thank you. James watched me. What will Ethan do? I stood. Nothing that turns me into Ryan. I walked outside with the evidence in my hand. Daniel was waiting beside the office. Bad news. The worst. Daniel studied my face. Tell me. Ryan knew I was alive before the wedding. Daniel went silent. I looked toward the city. I thought Ryan stole my fiancée. I breathed slowly. Now I know Ryan tried to steal my entire future. Daniel asked, Are you angry? Yes. Will Ethan seek revenge? I shook my head. No. Why? Because Ryan already lost everything. I looked at our office sign, and I finally found something Ryan can never take. What? My life. For the first time, I walked away from Ryan without wondering what Ryan would do next. I had survived the betrayal. Now I intended to live beyond it. I found Ryan in the empty conference room. Ryan looked at me and stood. Ethan came for revenge. I came for the truth. Ryan laughed bitterly. Ryan knows what Ethan wants. I want Ryan to hear this. Ryan took 5 years from my life. Ryan lowered Ryan's eyes. But Ryan cannot take the rest of my life. Ow! By making me hate Ryan. Ryan stared at me. I expected Ethan to hit me. Almost wanted to. Then why stop? Because military training taught me that losing control is not strength. Ryan sat down. I destroyed everything. You destroyed trust. I wanted what Ethan had. My family. Everything. Michael's respect. Olivia's love. The inheritance. The future. I looked at Ryan. Why? Because Ethan was always first. I never asked to be first. Ryan knows. Then why punish me? Because Ryan thought becoming Ethan would finally make Ryan equal to Ethan. I shook my head. Ryan never needed to become me. Ryan's face broke. Ryan was jealous. I know. Ryan intercepted the military confirmation. My chest tightened. Ryan admits it? Yes. Why? Because Olivia would have returned to Ethan. So Ryan chose a lie. Yes. Ryan knew Olivia still loved me. Yes. Ryan knew I was alive. Yes. And Ryan still married Olivia. Ryan covered Ryan's face. I was afraid. I remained silent. I thought Ethan would always have everything. Ryan believed taking Olivia would finally make life fair. Life was never supposed to be fair between brothers. I know that now. Ryan looked at me through tears. Can Ethan forgive Ryan? I can forgive Ryan. Ryan looked surprised. But forgiveness does not erase consequences. I understand. The door opened. Michael entered with Sarah. Michael stopped several feet away. Ethan, Michael needs forgiveness too. I looked at my father. Forgiveness will take time. I understand. Sarah cried. Ethan, Sarah is sorry. Sarah should have told Ethan everything. I needed Sarah when I came home. I know. Sarah stayed silent. I was afraid. So was everyone. Sarah stepped closer. Can Sarah try to rebuild what was broken? I nodded slowly. Yes, but rebuilding takes time. Michael lowered Michael's head. I know I may never regain Ethan's trust. Not today. Maybe someday. I do not know. Michael accepted the answer. Olivia stood outside the room. I noticed Olivia watching quietly. Our eyes met. Olivia smiled sadly. I understood the message without words. My life was moving forward. Olivia was no longer part of that future. Later that afternoon, Michael made one final offer. Ethan, return to the family business. No, you are still my son. I know. The company can be yours someday. I do not want it. What about your inheritance? I placed the documents on the desk. I refuse it. Michael stared at me. Why? Because I do not want anything built around my possible death. Ethan, that inheritance belongs to Ethan. No, I choose what belongs to me. I left the estate without taking a dollar. Months passed. My security company grew faster than I expected. Daniel became my business partner, and our small office became a real company. Daniel looked at our new client list. Ethan, this is incredible. We built it. We really did. I smiled. For the first time, success felt clean. Sarah visited often. Our relationship slowly healed through simple conversations, shared meals, and honest apologies. Michael and I remained distant, but respectful. Ryan faced legal consequences for financial fraud and began rebuilding life from the bottom. I did not watch Ryan's every move. I had my own life now. One evening, I returned to the Carter estate. I stood outside the gates where my homecoming had once become a nightmare. I remembered Olivia in the wedding dress. I remembered Ryan beside Olivia. I remembered the ring in my pocket. The memory still hurt, but the pain no longer controlled me. I whispered. I came home expecting a wedding. The wind moved through the trees. I smiled faintly. The man who came home is gone. I understood something I had failed to see for years. I did not lose my future when Olivia married Ryan. I lost an illusion. I had believed love could survive anything. I had believed family could never betray me. I had believed sacrifice guaranteed loyalty. Those beliefs died at the wedding, but something stronger grew afterward. I learned that my worth did not depend on Olivia. My future did not depend on Michael. My identity did not depend on Ryan. My life belonged to me. I touched my empty pocket. The engagement ring was gone. I had returned it long ago. There was no bitterness left, no desire for revenge, only peace. I turned away from the estate. Daniel's message waited on my phone. New contract signed. We did it. I smiled and typed my answer. We did. Before I left, Ryan stopped me at the gate. Ethan. I turned. I know forgiveness cannot repair what Ryan did. No, it cannot. But Ryan wants Ethan to know something. What? Ryan was wrong about everything. Ethan never stole Michael's love. Ethan never stole the family's respect. Ethan earned trust through choices. I studied Ryan for a moment. Then make better choices now. I will. Do not do it for me. I understand. Do it because Ryan has to live with Ryan's own name. Ryan nodded. I will. I walked away, knowing that Ryan's future was no longer my responsibility. I left without carrying Ryan's burden, and I kept walking toward my own new future. 5 years earlier, I had left for war believing I would return to the same life. I returned to a broken life instead. But surviving that betrayal made me stronger than the man who had first left for war. I finally understood that coming home was never about returning to the past. Coming home was about choosing where I belonged. And for the first time, I belonged entirely to myself.